What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Sean Spencer, one half of that dynamic duo that is Let's Talk Football. You see how I'm with, ladies and gentlemen, my guy right here from South Carolina, Will Kramer. What up, Will?
It's a good day, Sean.
Yes.
It's a very special day.
Come on.
Can you believe it?
I'm hoping.
Can you believe it?
Finally, ladies and gentlemen, finally, hopefully, we will have what we've been praying for so daggone long. Will, we know we won the game. We're obviously going to get into that. Mm-hmm. We know we got our old guy, Mr. Kirk Cousins, coming back to DC. Mr. You Like That will be back in DC this weekend. And that's great too. We even have injury news that, ladies and gentlemen, you are gonna be so excited to hear if you love this guy and you love our defense. But we can't start with anything else, Will. On Washington Football Weekly. Sorry, I didn't do that. I'm so excited. I forgot to even say the name of the show.
You're good.
Will, all I have to say is it possible? Can Dan Snyder really be selling the team? Oh my goodness gracious.
I know. I can't believe it. I never thought that headline was going to be up there. Yeah, like, I can't. I know. This and the fact that it came out of nowhere, just boom, drops, the article comes out. So yeah, and when more information's come out to where it seems like this may be legit. I'll tell you this. When I first saw the article, saw the headline, read into it, I was really kind of thinking that that it may not be selling the full team. Right. Because if you remember, he owes money back to the NFL.
Right.
He got a $450 million loan from the NFL to buy out the partners, the rest of the 40%. So about $900 million. So he owes them money. So At first I thought, you know what, this is him just saying that they're going to sell a portion of the team to get some minority owners in there. And then therefore he can use that money to pay back his loan and maybe finance a stadium. Yeah. And then some more information came out. There's another investigation by the feds. They're targeting what we talked about this spring, which was the revenue from non-NFL events that they've been skimming money and saying, here's your piece of the pie of their total. And I think he's just realized that. I think he's been told this isn't going to go well. It's time you start looking into this. What do you think?
Look, man. I'm going to tell you what I told everybody the minute everybody texted me. And I even had to come to you to be like, can we believe this? I told everybody I'm not going to hold my breath. I said, don't do this to me. I said, if you have followed this team like we have over the last several years, we've seen all of this. Every time something comes up, they say, this is going to be the one. This is going to potentially get him out. And so leading up to even this story, I'm kind of like, okay, even with the government, the House committee had him go. And he basically was like, nah, I'm good. I'll hit you up over Zoom or something like the disrespect in that. So I'm sitting here like, man, what do we call him? Teflon Dan, because I just didn't think it was possible. But now when you accumulate all of this on this side with him, skimping the books and not telling the accurate story about all the money and where it's going. And then you get all of this on this side with the ladies and the cheerleading team and selling the team and the team name and all that. And you finally compile it. And then when he's basically flipping the middle finger up to the government, woo! Oh yeah, you can't run from everybody, buddy. You can't run. We know it's such a coincidence that we won the game against the owner in Irsay, who came out and was like, look, y'all need to look at this guy. Y'all, and they've been looking at it. We know what Dan Snyder said about him being, I got stuff on everybody, which, as we see now, is potentially a bluff. It's so sweet that it's like we're so close. Mm-hmm. We've been going through this for so long. We're so close, but realistically, what are the percentages? Like, what are the real chances that this could be done?
I'm going to tell you 100%.
Woo!
Why? I've got reasons for it. Okay. I don't think the timing of this is coincidence at all. All right. What you've got, three things have happened here recently. And you could say recently in the last 6 months, because when you're talking about sale of ownership of a team, it's not you come up with this decision and things happen immediately. This takes time. This takes planning. And we're at the point of the year that I think this is playing a role, but also we've been seeing this coming. Very first point that I have to say it's 100% is he has no lead on the stadium. He lost out on DC. Yep. He's lost out on Maryland and the deals around the not Inner Harbor, the National Harbor. And he's lost out on Virginia. The legislation this summer pulled their money. All right. So he's lost all those opportunities. He has no lead on the stadium, which means he's showing that he can't get it done. No one wants to do business with him. That people have found that out. The second part, what happens next week in this country?
No, election day, voting.
It's election day.
Yep.
If Republicans take over the House, they have said they will be dismantling a bunch of these investigations, which means the House committee that is investigating Dan Snyder is going to be squashed. Exactly. So I think two things have happened because they know that they're either realizing they have to wrap up everything that they've done, or they have known this and they're turning this over to the feds who have announced that they're investigating things. And so I think this is the culmination of their work. So, hey, if you like seeing that Dan Snyder go down, you might want to consider that next week, that this committee may get to continue going and investigating and keep this thing going, but you got to vote a certain way. That's all I'm going to say. So there's that.
Telling you what to do. Look, we're not telling you what to do. We're just telling you if you do one thing
to think about.
Right. That's all we're saying.
Exactly. So that's my reason number two. My third one is I believe this got talked about at the owners' meetings. They said they weren't going to do it. They publicly put on the schedule, then let you know they didn't have anything on there. But I'm pretty sure all of this was discussed. Tanya was there. They probably talked to her about things about the stadium, about these investigations and whatnot. And they used that opportunity by Jim Irsay to come out and make the NFL look so good because we're so concerned about workplace environment. And these allegations are serious to us. And we think we need to look into this. And it's just making the NFL look good. But really, it's a coordinated effort of recognizing the sun is setting on his ownership. They're all aware of it. And I think potentially the next time they get together is March, we could be having a vote for ownership in March. So that's my reasons for it being 100% that he's selling. I think they're out.
Let's go. Oh my goodness. That could it be true? Can it? I cannot.
Is this the greatest Christmas present you've ever?
I mean, come on now. Come on. And with the other things that we're going to talk about later, it's just things come in threes, Will. Things come in threes. And we had it. Three big things, and this is the first one. This is absolutely great. But look, let's actually talk about this. Let's break this down. We know that in August, the Forbes had the Commanders at about what 5.6 billion.
Could be.
Around that time, around that, right? So we know it's going to take at least what 6 billion, if not more, to kind of get the team. So we're obviously talking about some 1%ers that have that kind of money. So who exactly are we talking about? I know the Bezos Jay-Z thing and everything, but there's Josh Harris. I've heard he was really trying to go after the Denver Broncos ownership. Who are some of the people we're talking about, and which direction do you think they're kind of going to go?
Yeah. So, this is what has me so excited because Sean, only you and I can understand this. All right. Let me take you back 23 years ago, 24 years ago. All right. And I say to you, the Washington Redskins are for sale. The people that are going to want that franchise the list, like you said, it's the 1%ers, but they know the value of that. We're back there. I know, most people watching this, so he's owned the team for 23 years. A lot of the folks in the Let's Talk Football family have only seen Dan Snyder. They haven't seen what we saw before. At one point,
cook, baby.
The Redskins were not just a top 5 franchise. They were one of the marquee franchises in the world.
Yes. Yep.
There's a picture of current President Joe Biden, an Eagles fan, taking his son Bo to RFK, wearing a Redskins hat. All right. It was the thing to do, the place to be was to go to RFK and watch the Redskins play. So there are people that are our age and older that have that feeling. They know what this franchise was. And the NFL knows this is a top 10, top 5 market, nationwide. But, there's tons of money here. All right. The jobs are here. There's money in these jobs between lobbyists and through the government. And look at your housing market. Okay. How much your houses cost in this area. It's a very lucrative area. So any business person is going to know that when it comes to the NFL, regardless of one-loss record, this is a marquee franchise. So I think you could be looking at people who remember the glory days. And that's what I'm looking for. I want someone who actually, I would love it if they grew up a Redskins fan.
Yep.
Okay. Moved away, got their, profits, their business acumen everywhere, got everything. And then said, oh my gosh, my childhood team is for sale.
Right.
You mean I can own the team that Joe Gibbs is going to come to my stadium to watch a game?
Yep.
That Darryl Green, the guy I idolized, is going to be on my side, and I'm going to meet this guy and work with him. Doug Williams is on staff there. So like there are some folks that are going to like it. You've named a couple. So I'm going to go a couple local folks. All right. Josh Harris, you mentioned it. He's the owner of the 76ers, Flyers, maybe the Philadelphia Union, another one. You said it. He went after the Denver Broncos franchise, but he realized he was never going to compete with the Walton money, that Walmart money. So he finished, second or something. All right. So but he grew up in Chevy Chase, Maryland.
Yes.
All right? Okay.
Around the corner.
Exactly. The next guy is the owner of Chelsea FC. I can't pronounce his name very well. His name's Todd. I'm going to say Bailey. Boehly. Grew up in Bethesda, Chevy Chase.
Bailey.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Another local guy. He bought an English premier team. All right.
Yeah.
We've got local guy who might own all 4 sports teams by the end of his tenure here, which is Ted Leonsis.
Yeah.
Came up through,
Nathan was saying.
It was America Online, or Verizon is where he got his fortunes from. He obviously owns Monumental Sports Network. He's got the Caps. He's got the Wizards. He's got the Mystics. He's looking into purchasing the Nats. Who knows if he's going to turn around and say, wait a minute, the Commanders? I can get the Commanders instead? That's a big deal.
Right.
And then the next one is what you mentioned, but I think there's something to it. I'm not going to lie. I think there's something to the Jeff Bezos Jay-Z story.
Oh,
all
man.
Right? And I'll say it because the Washington Commanders have been in business with Rock Nation. We have hired them to do some of our marketing here in the last year or two. I was actually anticipating that Jay-Z would be a part of a ownership group to purchase a minority shares potentially. That wouldn't surprise me, because I thought, they're already doing business. The NFL is going to want to parade around Jay-Z and having a minority owner. Like, this is just easy. That's what the Commanders are doing. We've got a black team president. We've got a Hispanic coach. Like, it just fits. But Jay-Z wants to get in business with the NFL, and he knows that none of the New York franchises are an option. So what's the next one? Because these NFL franchises don't come around all the time. So the next one is Washington, and it is a big market. Jeff Bezos has his headquarters now here. He owns the Washington Post. He's got headquarters of Amazon. So he is a Washington guy now. And you mentioned, we're talking 1%ers. We could be up to $8-9 billion. Who's going to be able to pony that up?
Right.
Bezos can.
Very few.
So I think there is something to that. I think the NFL, of course, you'd want to have Jeff Bezos on a part of your brotherhood. Yeah, they do. They want him a part of it. They don't just want him with Amazon and the business they have streaming. They want him a part of the circle. So I think it is very much an option. So those are kind of the 4 names I've heard thrown out there right now. There's another one. Do you know Byron Allen? Is that his name, Byron Allen?
The old Eagle?
No.
Not the old Eagle, no.
Alex even posted it today.
Byron Allen.
He owns an entertainment company. And he said he wants to become the first Black owner of an NFL franchise. Byron Allen, Brian
Okay,
Allen.
I have heard that name. Yeah, I have heard that name.
He went after the Denver Broncos too.
Right. Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, I like that. Look, I look. A local guy, and I love the point that you made. If we had a local guy come in who, like you said, grew up going to RFK, understood the traditions, the fight song, the stars, that we all look up to. Exactly. The everything. If somebody that understands that it's going to be great. That would be a nice situation. But I love your point about the Jay-Z, Jeff Bezos things, and I'm going to tell you why. It's hitting so many different demographics. Yes. Who doesn't have something from or associated with Amazon? Mm-hmm. That's just what it is. We made jokes with Ab. Shout out to him. We made jokes with him way back when we first heard the rumors of Bezos potentially being interested. That what if they had sit here? You have Amazon's little what are those, the little Amazon areas where you can get your packages and all that stuff?
Oh, yeah,
they can put those in the stadiums. Just random things like that. I mean, that is crazy to think about. But how you talked about how big he is on just a world stage, not just in football, but in other avenues. And for him to dip his foot in here would be great. Then him pairing with Jay-Z. I'm going to tell you the first thing I thought when hearing that is I would absolutely love if Washington comes out, the smoke goes up, we're running on the field, and all you hear is, bring them out, bring them out, bring them out, bring them out. It's like, let's go. Let's go. I would lose my mind. And I'm telling you, Washington fans would absolutely. And one of the reasons why I'm saying this is because one of the things that we've had issues with right now is getting our fans in the stands. We are one of the teams that has the highest attendance from other fans, not just the team we're playing, but also just random fans that will come and fill our stands and overtake the chants in the whole 9. Mm-hmm. If you have some kind of entertainment like that to bring that in, you talk about with the cool part of it, you know what I mean?
Yes.
That's going to put fans in the stands. And now you're bringing these two guys together. I mean, there's something to be said for well-known people.
Yep.
And when people kind of know the name, then you're going to bring in people that might not be Washington fans or might not be specifically like I'm diehard this, but they're just like, I want to be a part of that. You look at the Rams, you look at the Raiders and all these big new stadiums. You can't tell me all those fans are specifically football fans. No. A lot of those people want to see it because it's a tourist attraction.
Yep. That's
one of the things that we need to bring back. You talked about Biden and his son going to RFK. RFK was a dump. 55K, it rocked, but oh, baby, there ain't nothing like it in this world. Mm-hmm. RFK to me is when I hear Steve Sable on NFL Films. It's when I hear the NFL Films fight songs and, all that stuff. It's just, it gives me chills thinking about that. We need to bring that back. And a way to start doing that is to make us cool again. Not make us the creepy uncle that's standing in the corner in the shadows like, hey, let me give you an extra long hug. No, we don't need that stuff anymore, which is what Dan Snyder, that's what people look at us as, the weird guy that's like over here. What is he doing all this nonsense?
Yeah.
We need to bring back what Sydney said in the group chat, the cool. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Let us be somebody that people want to be a part of and not this pariah in the league anymore. So
right.
I love that. But again, we'll see. We'll see who comes. It's all speculation right now.
Well, I love how you talked about representing the city.
Yeah.
All right. I've long said that you want to have if you want to have someone who has power, they used to say the most powerful man in Washington was the Redskins starting quarterback. But you want to know what really rallies the fan base and can bring the fans base back. And I'm going to be very careful how I say this, but I do believe that a black quarterback can rally a lot of fans. I felt that RG3 brought a lot of people back.
Yeah, very true.
When he came in there. All right. If you have Jay-Z and you have just more representation, you just said that, represent the city, represent all parts of the city, and the whole area, I think you would be able to start bringing people back to the team. I certainly do. And I think there's, just like you said, the element, I make myself old, but the element of cool, there. What Jason Wright is trying to make a stadium that is losing resilient. Jay-Z would help.
Yeah.
And bring in that entertainment factor to it.
Exactly. And that's where from that aspect there is a big marketing aspect that we've done. And look, they've tried here and there. Well, Dan Snyder hasn't tried. His wife has tried, especially with breast cancer awareness month, and a lot of the things that she's done through the team with breast cancer. And that's amazing. We absolutely love that. Unfortunately, it always was overshadowed because her husband was probably the one on the other side talking about, let me touch that. You know what I mean? Not to go there, but I mean, it just never got the attention that it should have gotten because it was such a great thing that we had there, but it stinks. So let's bring back some attention and let's be known for something being good. Let's be known for being a positive change and not just the other BS. To the whole quarterback thing, hey, I mean, Doug Williams galvanized this city at that particular time. First black quarterback to lead his team in the Super Bowl, first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl, first black quarterback to be MVP. And for all of you that don't want me to hear first black, this and that, it's fact. That's just what it is. At that time before, there was a stigma and there was an ideology towards African-American quarterbacks. He dispelled that myth. He did it on the grandest stage. And if you ever go back, we have a VHS cassette tape of it. If you ever go back and look at it, and they show Northwest, Northeast, all these different pictures of the city, and it's just everybody. Just, like the college towns, Tennessee just did it over Alabama. It's just people flooded everywhere, not caring about anything, coming together for Washington. Come on now. We need that. We absolutely need that. And look, this could be that first block to getting us to what we need, man. So
yeah. Woo! I think it's happening, Sean.
Come on, man. Oh my goodness.
I know, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Woo! All right, ladies and gentlemen, we need to get a quick breather here. We're gonna be right back to you because that was one of the great things. We just found that out, but there's some other good things, namely our game. We did pretty good. Well, actually, pretty good. I don't know that we did pretty good in the win. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. The Washington Commanders. There it is. What is going on? Hey, it's me, your boy Sean Spencer, with my guy, Mr. Will Kramer. And Will, we won. That was the good part. That was the good part. Ladies and gentlemen, you saw us on here Sunday for the first ever Washington Football Weekly post-game little show that we did. And we really kind of tried to break down just a little bit from what we saw, those first initial reactions. But now, having looked back, we got the win. That's the positive. You know what I mean? There was a lot to work through.
A lot of bad.
Yeah. And I don't want to get, well, let's go into our keys of victory that we had a week ago. One of the things I said was we need to feed Terry. Let him be that dog. Now, he was that dog at moments, but it wasn't the 10 catch game, or he wasn't even the
stats are deceiving on him.
Yeah, he wasn't even the highest, had the most receptions or whatever. But it was when he had the receptions, when he made the plays, and just there's a certain dog in him now. You know what I mean? When he's catching it, like, we know about the bomb late in the game that set up the game-winning touchdown, but even on other plays, like this random the first down where he caught it, getting it, and then kind of jawing at people. And we know Terry as a humble, nice, reserved dude.
Yeah.
Terry, something unleashed in Terry recently, and I'm excited about that. So get him going, and that's what happened. Overall, we got him going, and it showed up definitely late in the game when we needed it. So, yeah, what were one of your keys?
Sure. Yeah. So the first one I had said was to feed our backs. Okay. Because I didn't want Taylor Heineke to feel like he had to go win this game. So we tried.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah.
They did. Let's see what we got here. We had 20 yards and 19 yards between Gibson and Brian Robinson.
Yeah.
That's pathetic. We really struggled there. So, but the plan was there. I mean, they kept going back to it too. So they tried, but boy, did that not work against Indy.
Yeah, yeah. And along those lines, one of the things that I said helped with the run was motion kills. And again, a lot of it was us trying, and credit to their defense for being a legit defense, but we weren't able to really get the running game going. Now, Curtis Samuel was our leading running back with 29 yards, but and he was able to, get a couple here and there, but it wasn't to the level that it kind of really messed up the defense. Right. You know what I mean? Right. For the most part, they seemed like they kind of had us well scouted and had it down. And, we didn't help ourselves at certain times as well. So, but it was one of those things that I think if we keep doing it and keep dedicating to the run, sticking to that, we'll be good. But it didn't really show that well in this one.
Nope.
So what you got, man?
The other one I had was to basically make Sam Ehlinger beat us. Maybe have a spy in case you need to. And we didn't seem to have a spy too often. He really didn't do a whole lot of running, if I can remember, but we made him beat us. We basically said, like, okay, you're gonna have to go after this. And the Colts had just as conservative an offensive game plan for him as we did for Heineke. Right. I mean, it was not good football.
The mirror image, right?
It really was. They're both wearing 4. They're both, it's like it was not good.
That's why it was 17-16. Will, like
exactly. Well, right. And so, that part works. Is we basically were like, hey, listen, you're going to have to beat us. He made a couple good throws. He had that deep pass to Alec Pierce down the way. He had that very nice ball to Nyheim Hines. But other than that, I mean, he did fine out there in his debut, but he wasn't anything special, and he didn't get to the point of torching us. I think that worked. They said, you're going to have to beat us. We're going to, and he didn't. Somehow he didn't. He should have.
Somehow. Right. We gave him chances. Definitely did that. And my last one was, like I've been saying all year, bend but don't break defense. Mm-hmm. And to be quite honest with you, we did that throughout most of the day. We held them to 4 field goals, and three times, if I'm not mistaken, 3 separate times, they had it starting in our side of the field. Had it from the 50 and closer. And a lot of them, they would have certain big plays. We talk about the 27-yard run with Jonathan Taylor. Paris Campbell got behind our corners a couple times, and they were getting close. But like we talked about on Sunday, there was a play where we had McCain hop up and shut down a run and have them lose yards and stop momentum. Jonathan Allen burst through and made a huge tackle and shut them down, and we're holding them to field goals. So in the first, coming out of the first half, it's 7-3, and then it's 7-6 going into the fourth. They get the
game.
Well, right. Well, I mean, exactly. We were mirror image of each other right now, all right? And then going into it, I mean, look, even when it was 9-7, it was still like they weren't getting anything done. It was our turnover that gave them the short field where former Colt Nyheim Hines scored.
Yes.
Scores a touchdown on on Sunday, and then gets traded on Tuesday. Good gracious. Oh man, but bend but don't break it. At the end of the day, the defense they've been the solid force for us this year, and they really started to improve. You see certain things get better, and they did it this whole game without Cole Holcomb, which is huge if you know how well he's been playing the last couple weeks. So I was impressed by that, because of all the things that we have this year, that is the one thing from OTAs to mini camp, training camp, preseason, all the way through. We're going to have that bend but don't break defense, and that's what we've been doing. So,
yeah. I agree.
You got any more?
Nope, I got those two I've got written down.
That is good. What is going on, people? Nathan, Nicole, Andrew, appreciate you guys joining us. Mm-hmm. We are talking about our victory. We got the dub over the Colts 17-16. But ladies and gentlemen, we are realistic fans. We are realistic. And we are going to go ahead and we're going to move on. Now, we're going to try to. Should we start with positives? Because
we could do that.
It might be a tiny segment. It might be a tiny little
I've got a decent list of positives, actually.
You've got a decent? Okay. I'm going to let you go. Take over this one, man, because I'm still bitter.
Okay. Well, I'll do this one, and I'm going to start with a little bit on the defense, a little bit what Nathan just said here about Jonathan Taylor. They did. Yes. So our defense, I don't want to repeat too much of what you said there, but the bend don't break was big. We prevented scores. We held them to field goals. We had 2 fumbles in the red zone. Yes. We have had a solid defense this season, but we have not generated turnovers. I was watching the clip of the Vikings game coming up there, and they said we are top 10 in sacks, top 5 in QB pressures, but we get no turnovers as a result of it. We don't get interceptions. Today on Sunday, we were able to get 2 fumbles, and they were key. They stopped big drives for them. Jamin Davis, you talked about Cole Holcomb being out. Jamin Davis came through. He gave up that catch to Hines, but on the very next play, where they settled down, he came flying through on 3rd down and made that tackle. That was huge. That was a read, react, and just go after it, show his athleticism. And that was a drive-saving, touchdown-saving, play that he made there. Yeah. We held Jonathan Taylor to 76 yards. We said, if you're going to beat us, this is how they beat people. Last year, this year is Jonathan Taylor. Now, he was banged up. He's got an ankle injury. He left for a little bit, so he was probably banged up even in the game. We gave up a total of 135 yards, which isn't great, amongst quarterbacks, and they had a couple wide receiver runs along with Nyheim Hines. But not letting Taylor consistently get to us and get chunk yardage on his runs was huge. Because we were able to say, okay, Ellinger, you're going to take what's underneath. And that's what he went after. He didn't really go downfield too often. So I actually thought the defense played, for a 3rd consecutive game, and even beyond that, even when we lost to Tennessee, that they are playing solid. They're not spectacular. They're not anything that we're going to sign up for fantasy football with or be proud of, but they're playing very solid ball right now.
Right. They did what they needed to do. He got Ellinger just over 200 yards. It's the epitome of average. You know what I mean? We stepped up when we needed to in the red zone. We gave up things here and there, but we didn't break down. We didn't, beat ourselves up. We kept playing. We had that short memory. I absolutely loved it. Yeah. Obviously, positive. We won on 1st down. That's huge, 20-15. But I don't know if you can really say that because nobody really wanted it. It was each team was kind of giving it up back and forth. We weren't really dominating to get that 1st down marker, But the fact that we were able to hold them to 5 of 12 on 3rd down was huge. You talk about, the play with Jamin Davis came through on that 3rd down. There was at least 4 drives where we shut them down on 3rd down and forced the field goal. That's the defense saying, offense, we know you're having problems. We know you're struggling. And what did I tell you? I told you on Sunday, it's going to take about 14 points to win this game. And ended up taking 17. But, but still, it wasn't going to take much. With the exception of the Nyheim Hines touchdown, they weren't doing anything that scared us. It's just that we couldn't get over the hump. No. But, we'll discuss that. But again, our defense continued. You talked about the fumbles. Our defense gave us the opportunity, and it did it in a consistent form, so consistent fashion. So now we're more frustrated than worried. You know what I mean? That's a positive. You know what I mean? I'm going to be honest. When we came into the season, I was more worried than frustrated because I'm sitting here like, You know, there was a couple against the Jaguars where they missed them. They just dropped. They just missed a couple. And then we saw what happened in Detroit. We saw what happened when these teams are starting to take advantage. And it was that anxious feeling like, oh, we got a touchdown. Okay, how long are we going to hold them until they score? Yeah. You know what I mean? And it was always kind of that feeling. This, and again, the competition wasn't, we're not playing, the Super Bowl, Rams of a year ago. We're playing a team that they just benched their starter. Ellinger's in there, they got a banged up tail like you were talking about. But still, I felt the confidence, like our defense, somehow, some way, they're going to find a way to get it done. And that I absolutely, absolutely loved. Let's go to offense. What were some of your positives on offense?
Yeah. And Ben's got a good comment. I was just thinking that too. Yep. We feel the same way. They're giving us a chance, which is sometimes all you can ask for right now.
Yeah.
So I did see some good things on offense. All right. I'm going to start by praising it, but then when we get to the negatives, I'm going to bring this up. We had a conservative game plan out there, and I like the philosophy behind that. We did try and run the ball as much as we could and take the game out of Taylor's hands, not make him feel like he's got to play hero ball. So I like that. I liked our usage of Antonio Gibson for a second game in a row now. He had 14 overall touches. All right. It didn't do that well, in this game. His running really didn't get going, but he was a factor in the passing game. He had 7 catches, in the game. He had a touchdown, and we had 3 good drives on that game, which is really sad to say 3 good drives. But on the first one, he was all involved in it. Taylor kept looking downfield and going, okay, well, I'll give it to you because you're not covering you. And he would go 15 yards. And then it happened again, another 20 yards, And so they were using him as a weapon. So I like the fact that they're essentially saying, we're going to find ways to get you the ball, whether that's handing it off or throwing it to you. I'd like to see, 14 touches, is not too bad on there. So I think they're getting him involved in the game. We got 4th down conversions. Yeah. We needed those 4th down conversions, and we got it to the point where the next 2 guys I want to praise, well, you can't praise a whole lot on the offense for an entire game, but when it mattered, Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel were making big catches.
Huge
3rd down, 4th down catches to keep those last 2 drives going. When we needed our playmakers at the very end, they showed up. And so that was what I was enjoying seeing, because there was a lot of bad in there, but those were some of the positives that I took away from the game.
Yeah. From the offense, for me, you kind of mentioned it earlier. Actually, when we were first talking about the keys to victory, one of your keys, commitment to the run, dedicated run. We talked about a week ago how we had over 30 carries. We had 28 carries in this game. Now, obviously, it just shows for 96 yards, and our 2 main running backs had 20 and 19 respectively.
Yeah.
But still, we're still getting yards. If 4 guys have 20 plus yards, okay, that means each one of them is doing something. But it also means that we're dedicating time to the run. Talking about time of possession, first downs, constantly moving on. Look, it was 7-3 in the first, and like you talked about, that first drive, that drive we scored early was solid, and a lot of it was struggle, but we had a lot in between. We were, like you're talking about, we're getting passes downfield, we're making nice catches. Things would just falter. We take an untimely sack or a penalty or turn or something like that. You know what I mean? But the fact that we're continuing to run the ball and not just stopping, go back to that Tennessee game where we had 10, 11 carries. You know what I mean? When Brian Robinson came back and Gibson, we weren't sure with, and we were passing. Now, Wentz had 359 yards or something like that. But in a game like that, where it's a one possession game, we need to be running the clock to keep them off, chewing the clock to keep them off the field. Yeah. So I loved that we definitely dedicated time to running the ball, continually running the ball. And even if it doesn't work, and that's the thing I think that we're starting to now rely on the run to the point where even if it's not going to work, we're not going to give up on it. Because there have been times when I feel like Scott Turner has been like, oh, okay, it's not, they keep jamming it up, so I'm just going to go try to chuck it up. And I think that's one of the issues that, we'll talk about this down the line, but that's one of the issues that I think Wentz had. because they weren't going to give it to them run. So they're just going to sit up and shotgun for the first 3 plays. And then we can't do that. Taylor, we know we have to run it, and his ability comes into place, which is the second part of what I'm going to say in the positive.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't look good for most of the game, and we'll definitely get into that. Don't believe me, Taylor. I got some choice words for you. But I can't call it, man. Will, I don't know what it is. He gets to that moment when it's like, yeah, we need you. We need you right now. He just does some Houdini, like, now I'm here, now I'm not, scrambling, him getting out of the pocket, him just, it's, you have this feeling like, oh my God, we need this, you're not doing anything. And then all of a sudden, like, he just, a dime to Terry, hits Curtis Samuel jumping, catch a drop to the ground. It was like, wow.
Where has this been?
Right. It's like, damn good pass. Yes. And then 2 more incomplete passes, and then back to 3rd down we go, or 4th down in this game, and it's just like, it's good and bad. But at the same time, when it came down to it, when we needed it, and I talked to you about this Sunday, and I talked to you about this mid-game, there was a certain calm where it was like, he's got this. Mm-hmm. This is what he does. If he's going to come in and do it, he's going to do it at this particular point. Now, that complimentary football, the defense needed to make sure that the score wasn't out of reach for him to do it. And when he had it, we needed the drive to get the field goal, to get it within 1 score. And then we needed the drive for the touchdown. And he did it. And it didn't, the clock was winding down. 4th downs were coming up. There were times where, like I talked about, it looked like he was engulfed, and all of a sudden he gets out.
Yeah.
I don't know what you call that. Some call it moxie. Some call it that right now moment. Taylor, shout out to you, man, because he did it. He came alive at that particular point, and I was just sitting. Part of me was like, yeah, it's great. This is a great win. I want to go on. And the other part of me is like, damn it, Will's going to bring out that shirt again. Hey, Nicky. Like, damn.
It's in the wash.
Else, man.
Dang it.
Oh, man.
You're right. Well, and even like that last play, when it happened, and I even wrote to a couple people, and I said, oh my gosh, he threw a prayer. It's like, actually, no, he didn't. He even said afterwards, the line gave him good protection. He realized he could back up a little bit and buy some more time. McLaurin wasn't his first look, but he looked over and he's like, I didn't like what I saw there. And then I saw Terry break, and he goes, and I threw it. And he's like, I figured I'm going to give this guy a one-on-one chance. And now I think if given the same situation, Carson Wentz probably throws that ball into the end zone, and it's an easy touchdown because Terry broke on Gilmore. Yeah, he had 5 yards on him at one point. If Heineke got that ball further, it's an easy play, but ball died. So it wasn't as much of like a wing and a prayer type throw like we initially thought live, as you're watching it. So there was something to it. It was, I mean, there was some thinking there through it, but he there's something magical about it when the game's on the line. My keys to victory for the Vikings, I'll spill it now. Heineke needs to turn the ball over early, because once he throws a pick, that's when he changes. And he's finally like, all right, F it. We're going.
Right. I already messed up. We can't go much further there.
And he just like turns his whole game around once he throws one interception. So I'm like, we got to throw it early if you're going to throw the interception like you did in Green Bay.
Exactly. Look, man, the guy is a dog, and that when we need him, the team rallies behind him, and he seems to get charged by it. So, hey, shout out to you. Glad we were able to get the W's. Will, do you have any more positives before we get to my favorite part of it?
Yeah, no. We can hit the negatives.
Yeah, let's go right into it. Negatives, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to start on 3rd down. We were 2 of 12, ladies and gentlemen, 2 of 12. Now, Will, you did say we did good on 4th downs. You're absolutely right. We were 2 of 3 on 4th downs. But damn it, Will, I do not want to keep having to get the 4th downs. This is crazy. Everybody always talks about Ron and Ron this, Ron that. Stop making Ron have to be Riverboat Ron. Get the 3rd down conversions so we could keep going. And a lot of it you can't control. We talked about on Sunday the one play where we had a draw to McKissick. McKissick and runs, and it looks like there's a little lane, at least for enough for him to get the first down, and he slips.
Oh,
okay. It was one of those where you're just like, oh, come on, man. You know what I mean? But we had to get the fourth down, and when it's necessary, we do it. But still, man, we are killing ourselves. We are the reason we're in some of these situations. Dallas, it was penalties and this. The last couple of weeks, third downs have been an issue, and we have to figure out a way. If we're going to sustain the winning streak or continue to actually win down the stretch, third downs, man, we have to stay on the field, because the bend but don't break is great. We love it. But eventually it's going to get to the point where the dam is going to break, and then the floodgates are going to open. We have to get our defense some time to rest on the sidelines and stop throwing them back out there after three or six plays. You know what I mean? Yep. We have to get off the field as defense. We have to stay on the field on offense, is what I meant.
Yeah. So I want to go with that and kind of go on the theme of why are we having so much trouble on third down in this game. And it was because we had too many third and longs.
Yeah.
We were going 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12. That is not Heineke's strength. And so I actually, you were talking about feeding the run a lot. And I felt in this game, I'm critical of Scott Turner for sticking to that game plan for way too long. I like the philosophy. I want us to be, the ball control and not make Taylor think that he's got to win this game. He's got to be the man for us. But when it wasn't working, I felt we needed to come off of it quicker. You'd kind of mentioned sometimes that Scott will stick to it or jump off of it too early. I actually thought he stuck to it too long today. Yeah. He kept feeding deep into the third quarter. We kept feeding the handoffs and I felt like when he came out after the second half, we got the ball. We had a bad drive. After that next drive, if that didn't work, then I'm like, dude, you got to scrap this because you got to find ways to put your offense in better situations. The Indianapolis Colts defense is designed to do what we talked about with Ellinger. Take what they give you. They'll give you the underneath. They don't want to give anything deep, which is why on that first touchdown drive, we had so many passes to Gibson out of the backfield, and he took it. So we should have done a little bit more of that in there instead of on first down and second down running. And now we're 3rd and 8, because we haven't done it. On second down, we should have had some type of passing play. We should have had a shorter passing route or done something that gets our backs involved in the passing game instead of keep feeding the ball. Because like we said, Gibson and Robinson had 20 yards and 19 respectively. Heineke and Samuel had 29 yards. Like we had almost like 28 handoffs for 96 yards. That ain't happening. That's not working. Yeah. So I wish we would have gone off of that much sooner than they did. And I fault Scott Turner on that, which you don't hear me say very often. So I am very critical of Scott Turner for sticking with that game plan for too long.
Huh. Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's clip that one. Can we just pause the show and have that? Right?
Save that.
Right. For me, so I praise the defense. I was saying how great they were and everything like that. And again, it was a respectable 135 that we allowed them to run, but it was the splash plays. It was the splash runs. We talked about the 27-yarder that Taylor had. He had a couple where it was 8, 9, 10. When you're getting that where it's a second and short or first down immediate, that's keeping them on the field. Yeah. Paris Campbell had one of those kind of jet sweeps or one of those reverse around the head, like for 28 yards, similar to what we got burned with by Amon-Ra St. Brown in the Lions game.
Yes.
And it was extremely frustrating because even the announcer said, yes, this happened before. They were looking for this. We know it's coming, but I feel like that's one of those things where maybe you have Holcomb there. He would have, called it out or something like that. But still, giving them those splashes around the corner, even though we eventually held up and kept them to a field goal, it's not helping because it's like we get to the point where we're like, all right, we're good. Oh, it doesn't matter if you get a sack on first down, shut them down on second, if you give up a 3rd and long on a sweep or something like that. So a lot of those splash plays, Pierce had the 47-yarder. It's just like we've talked about it all season, and one of the reasons why is bend but don't break, because we do, like you said, we bend a whole heck of a lot. It gives them opportunities to get downfield before we finally get rigid and stingy and shut them down. So I guess I would like to see us more, let's focus on like the Colt, keep it in front of you, minimize those big gains, and shut them down on third down. Now we were 5 of 12. But they were 5 of 12 on third downs. But some of those third downs that they were getting, it just was frustrating, and it was keeping us on the field. And so that's one of the things I want. We got to stop, especially in the run game. We have to eliminate those chunk gains. We talked about it last year about getting gashed. It's one of those things that we had kind of started to at least maybe just from one guy. Like we had started to kind of halt in these last couple games, but you have the play at the end of the Bears game. Montgomery gets a bunch, and then Fields runs all the way down the field on us. 100 from Derrick Henry a couple weeks back. A week ago, we had issues. It's just we got to get this thing under wraps, because we got Philly, we got Dalvin Cook coming up this week, and then Damian Pierce from Florida at Houston. He's not bad. He's no slouch. Atlanta with Cordell Patterson and Tyler Algier out of BYU. Like we're going to be facing some teams that like to run the ball and that have receivers that they want to do little, reverses and things like that. And once people start looking on film and seeing that we're susceptible to that, they're going to run that all day on us. So we're going to have to nip that in the bud to kind of alleviate some of those longer drives that their teams are getting.
Yeah. So Ron mentioned that in his post-game presser. He was ticked off. Yeah. And he talked about those long runs. And he said he said, well, we had a couple plays where guys are doing their own thing. He goes, and that's crap. He goes, we're going to eliminate that. I'm going to show that on film, and we're going to get rid of this. Yeah. Well, the only thing that had me a little worried about that was this was some of the problems we had last year. Yes. Where they were talking about the defensive line and certain guys on there, mostly our two edges, kind of doing what they wanted to do and not they were supposed to do, and therefore they were opening up gaps that weren't supposed to be there. So to hear those words, I was like, oh no, here we go again.
Yeah. Right.
So let's see what happens, on Sunday to see if did they address it, and do they get the team buying back into the concept of what they want them to be doing. Yeah. The other part that I thought we touched on this a little bit on Sunday, though, is our clock management. I get it at the end of the clock management at the end of halves is what I'm talking about. I totally get it in the first half. I do. Like we don't trust Taylor. We don't trust our offense. We don't want to do anything that gives them another chance to get the ball. But what I've kind of learned and watched with Ron is essentially, and it's just like not new school way of thinking, is he is going to wait until two things happen before he starts calling his timeouts, until we get a first down, until the time is below the 2-minute warning. But everything else before that, he's willing to let that clock go. And it does. It drives me crazy to see stuff happening. Like to me, like we talked about on Sunday, the minute McKissick went down at a minute 54, call timeout. All right. Instead, we let the play go all the way down to the minute and 20s. We let 30 seconds run by. In the fourth quarter, went down 6 on your drive. And we were not at were we even at the 50 at that point? We were still on our side of the field. So there was just no urgency there. But I don't know if Ron's ever going to get out of that, unless he gives that to somebody else who will think a little bit more new school. But that just seems to be his thing. It's the ball. You have to get to the 2-minute warning. And you have to get a first down before he's like, okay, we're going to get this drive going. I'll call timeout now.
And it shows in even the play calls. I remember that one that when you're talking about, we're back at about our 30, maybe 35, and he does a run play. And then still doesn't run. And then it's just like you're not even attempting to throw. You're looking like, oh, there's 2 minutes left. Okay, we're going to go into the half as if it was 15 seconds on the clock. Yep. And it's like, dude, and I know you were. I was talking to you. I was yelling at the screen. I know my neighbors hate me. Because I was like, what are you doing? Like, why are you allowing all this time to elapse? Like, this is crazy. Like, it's like we're sitting here trying to bleed the damn clock. Like, okay, we're going to end the game.
That's exactly what they're doing. Because they're like, well, we get the ball back after the half, so let's just not have anything negative happen. It's kind of playing scared.
It's too. Yeah, it is. It is. It's playing not to lose as opposing to playing to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is just I can't with that, man. It is so frustrating. Along those lines, and look, shout out to Taylor Heineke. He did. I mean, the numbers are inflated from the last couple drives, but he did end up having about 279 yards. That's great. Whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, right. But one of the things I talked about during the Carson Wentz time here, our punter had more yards than he did. Our punter had almost 300 yards. Tressway had 294 yards.
Well, when you're missing 10 of your tries on third down, that punter's going to get a lot of opportunities to kick.
Right. All I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, is you have a Pro Bowl. If we're voting Pro Bowl, you better put Tressway there and everybody else kick him to the curb because Tress is getting the most action. Mm-hmm. Maybe other than, can't even say Detroit because Detroit outside of, once has been pretty much scoring. Like we're getting the most, us in Houston, potentially the punter for Houston, probably getting the most action all year. And it just is ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. I will say I love how everybody's so close to Tressway, though. You see everybody dapping Tressway up and coming up and saying what's good to him. I mean, if you're the best player on the team, I guess that's what they would do. I mean,
he's got such a personality. When he retires, he's going to be in sports media, and he gets a chance to be a star because he's just fun. They have this. He does his own little show where he interviews the players, and I mean, he's just a fun guy to be around. So I'm not surprised that everyone loves him.
Oh yeah. Go ahead. Good old Tressway. Yeah, but still, and again, I'm not saying this isn't as much an indictment on Taylor Heineke as it is on our offense and the fact that we're content, like you said, when you have 10 or more missed third downs, you're not getting off the field, or you have 10 times where you're having to punt. It's you. How are you expected to outgain your daggone punter? Your punter is having opportunities. And Tress is going to bomb it. So, I mean, that might inflate a little bit, but at the same time, it's just like, come on, guys. It's just not a good look.
Well, I got some bad news. I just went and looked to see if I could get a Tressway jersey on eBay, and there are none.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, who knows? Maybe Tressway will be my first Commander's jersey.
We're going to find one. I will get a Tressway Commander's
I'm going to wait, though, till after next year, just in case number 5 goes to Hendon Hooker. I just want to be careful here, just in case.
Oh, I like that.
Tress needs to get a new number.
Right. Oh, man. Look, so you got any more negatives, Will?
I don't. We've covered a lot of them. Oh, I guess my only negative was a little bit we talked about where Heineke had 190 yards on 2 drives, the last 2 drives. It's like we got to have better than that. Can't have it.
So, yeah, that is what it is. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go into our game balls, ladies and gentlemen, and we have to go ahead and I'm going to go first because I talked about this. There was a point in this game where it was in question. We were driving down the field. We didn't know what was going to happen. I, too, saw the play, and you see Taylor scramble out a little bit. He runs over, and the replay shows. Did he do one of these, Will?
I don't know if he even had to. I'm not sure. I don't think he did.
It didn't look like he looked at him. I don't know if he did. Maybe he gave a little eye up, tell him to go deep. But then he chucks it up there. Okay? I didn't know this before the game, but ladies and gentlemen, Stephon Gilmore, the Corners' old cornerback, who was one of the top tier cornerbacks in the league, still highly touted, was playing for the Colts today, or for that on Sunday, and he was the one who was matched up on him. Like you said, Terry had some room, but the way that the ball died towards the goal line, Terry had to make a play. Any other time, I would have been like, oh, dang, I think they got it. Terry not only, because it was a 50-50 ball, Terry not only caught it up there, but then yanked it away from Stephon Gilmore. I mean, just give me that. And came down, and then this is where it's mixed emotion. Then gets up, and he's, yeah. And I know that it was a timeout, and we stopped the clock. But then the helmet came off, and I'm like, because I watched the Panthers game, too. I was like, put the helmet back on. Put the helmet back on. Like, we don't need a penalty right now.
Right.
But at the same time, you could see it. He said it. This is my city. Like, this is my. And it was just like, woo. It's like that time when you have that one guy that gets picked on all that time, and eventually he loses his mind and goes ballistic on folks, like swinging and all this crazy. That's what he was like. He was sitting here like, dude, like it almost like y'all keep trying to doubt me. I'm about to show you what I'm gonna do. Yes, 6 catches, over 100 yards. I'm not worried about that because that play alone, amongst other things, let's not forget how. The Titans game, he was one of the key cogs that drive us down that field in that last drive. Last week, it's same deal. Like, we're getting it. So he's kind of starting to separate himself and kind of demand that respect that we all know he should have been garnering from jump. You know what I mean? So he's got my game ball because he's being a leader. He's not leading silently. He's opening up his mouth. And he's saying, follow me, hop on board because I'm taking us. And salute to you, my friend. I'm with that. What you got, Will?
There's only one offensive game ball that we can give out, and it goes to McLaurin. And just like you said, the evolution that he's made as a leader is almost as impressive now and helping us out as he is with what he does on the field, because he just does everything correct on the field. He doesn't make mistakes out there. And so the players are going to listen to him. They know, oh, he is better than me. He runs that route better than I do. And the fact that he's just, 2 weeks in a row now, we need a catch and he makes it. That's wide receiver 1 type stuff. So I'm absolutely going with him.
Oh yeah. Anton. What's going on, Anton? How you doing, buddy? Hailing the Washington fans. Yes, sir.
That's right.
You said I have a negative. Where was it? Shot in the arm.
I think that's what we were kind of talking about. The fact that's what I was referring to, where we just kept feeding that conservative play calling of run, pass, run, pass.
Yeah, exactly. But and hey, to the game Paul point, to the shot in the arm point, none of us can deny that once those 2 drives started, that's where it was. Yeah. And look, what do they say? Great players don't always play great. They only play great when they have to. I'm not going to necessarily put great in front of Taylor's name, but I'll say a gamer comes alive when he needs to.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yep. Jack Del Rio deserves game ball. Hey, coaching. He is starting. They are feeding into what he's saying. Like, they're believing and they're getting it. And I'm loving that right now, man. We need that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Anton wanted to give the ball to Heineke as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, he did. He when we needed the plays, he did it. It just took a whole lot of time.
Yeah. Yes.
It took 55 minutes before he got it going.
It was not pretty at all.
No, when he threw that pick with 9 minutes left, I was like, oh, there it is. All right, well, we're done.
Oh, yeah. When it was what, 16-7 once they scored, and it was 16-7. I was like, all right, cool. Well, it was good. Like, it was good.
I started texting conceding messages like, all right, we're 3-5.
Yeah. Where do we go from here? Type thing.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. And my thoughts about the show at that point compared to my thoughts when it ended, and I sent you the link. Like, let's go on. Let's go on now. Completely different.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yep, absolutely. I almost had a heart attack at the interception came. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, no. So shout out to Terry McLaurin. Gets our game ball this week. Oh, man.
We got to do defensive game balls.
Oh, yes. Who do you have? I'll let you go first.
Well, I like what Nathan said there. Jamin Davis, you mentioned it. Cole Holcomb was out this week, so he was going to have to, step up. And he was not the play caller. Cam Curl was. But, he's missing his buddy there. Jamin Davis played well, and he is progressing. He's absolutely improving this season. So maybe he is that guy that Ron and Jack weren't wrong with that pick. It's just going to take him a little bit of time. I'm just going to go with our 2 stud D tackles because they're consistent every single week. They're making plays, getting pressure, making tackles in big moments. You mentioned Jonathan Allen knifing through and grabbing the running back and be like, and we're done here. We're off the field. You know, kick a field goal. It's just, and there are leaders, there are captains. It's one of those things right now where, like, in that game, our captains are what rose up and helped get us the victory. And that's what we need right now, because we're not playing collectively great as a team.
Yeah. My defensive game ball is going to go to the secondary, but more so with the tackling. We had moments, we didn't do it all the time, but 3 out of our top 6 tacklers were defenders. McCain, St. Juste, and Cam Curl. All 3 of those, 2 of the 3 we've known have definitely made huge strides this year. And McCain has been playing well as of late, and especially with how he's played on defense in our last game. But the fact that we are coming up, and a lot of times when you have your safeties and your corners as the leading tacklers on your team, that means they're getting deep on you. But the way we're playing, we're bringing up the Buffalo nickel. Cam Curl's coming up to the line. We've had Reeves or McCain come up and kind of shut down, not allow them to get the edge and kind of shut it down right there and get the tackle for a loss. So, for me, it's got to be secondary, and more specifically, it's secondary also with the fact that they had a couple chunk plays, but he only had 200 yards. So you have the 47-yarder by Pierce. Now he's down to 150. You know what I mean? A couple to the running backs, a couple here and there, and it's not that we did what we were supposed to do to him. You know what I mean? He looked respectable, but we essentially shut him down, and we allowed our defense to be able to come up and get some pressure and kind of not confuse him, Ellinger, but kind of just keep him and keep everything in front, make sure we had it kind of locked down and against bend but don't break. But a lot of that was with tackling. We had to get our tackles. We've had too many games of missed tackles. So having, our secondary come up and play big, that was huge. That was huge for me. Yeah.
Anton's got an intro. That's a preview for what's coming up, Anton. Your second point is a preview for one of our segments coming up here.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, buddy. So there we go. Those are our game balls. I absolutely love it. So we will see what we do next week. But ladies and gentlemen, that's 3 in a row. Wait, get that. Okay, there you go.
Just like you said it. Just like
3 in a row, baby. 3 in a row. Woo! I got to get that clip. 3, baby. I'm so excited. And we will see how it's going forward. But before we get to the game, we got 2 more quick things to talk to you. We'll hit a quick break, and we'll be right back. Dun, 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 dun. Let's go. The Washington Commanders. There it is. Yeah, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, you see who it is. It's my guy, Will Kramer. It's your boy, Sean Spencer. We're talking about the W Washington just took. Thank you so much for joining us. Anton, Nathan, Andrew was here, Nicole. Appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. We are going to go ahead and move on because one of the things we've been dealing with all year is injuries, ladies and gentlemen. We started the year with a major impact on our injury list, and that was our stud first-round pick from 2 years ago, Mr. Chase Young, who was out up until this week. Chase Young is activated back at practice. Will. Too many things I should be getting excited about, but I just, some reason I'm just like, hold it in. Let's just talk to me. Tell me I can get excited, man, right? I can get excited about this.
I think so. Well, what's so funny is, man, so he came back to practice on Wednesday. This probably would have been our headline after the game recap. And it just got completely overshadowed with all the Snyder news. But did you see? So they showed a video of him coming back. The entire defensive line went nuts and started jumping on him and everything like that. So they're all very excited. Yes. It's a very good thing to get him back. So his 21-day window has started. Okay. I don't think he's going to be active on Sunday. They're working him back in, and with next week we play on Monday night, so that's just an extra day of rest and work. And I think what they're probably doing this week is they're ramping up his activity, and they're going to see how he's doing, come Sunday, just like so we put some stress on you. How did your knee react? How's your body going? So that they know come next week as they start to game plan and get him ready to go, he'll be in there. Now, I think he's going to be a little bit more of like a third down pass rush specialist for the first couple times and maybe the rest of the season. That, I don't think he's going to be a 50 snap a game, player for us, but even if it's come in there, be that and Ndukwe Kalu for us, man. Come in on third down. Your job is to rush the passer. Exactly. I'd be okay with that.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm excited about it. But yeah, like you said, he's probably going to be on a pitch count. We're not throwing him out here full steam. We can't, definitely ease him back in because look, he has it. He might have been practicing here and there, but he's not game speed. He's not game ready yet. And those other, linemen and running backs will take their shots to kind of see, are you back yet? And see, and hey, like Nathan was saying, we don't want him to re-injure that, and then all of a sudden you're back out for the rest of the year, and then where are we after that? So I like this, and I'm excited about it, but yeah, like Anton was saying, I wonder how reserved on plays. If they will reserve, have him essentially what you were saying, Will, where they'll bring him in on third down, bring him in for rush type situations or certain situations where maybe they need a play. Mm-hmm. My question though becomes one of the issues that we had with him prior to the injury was we know what kind of a physical freak he is. We know what kind of phenomenal talent he is. But we also know that he kind of plays that hero ball on defense. Like, I can do it. I'm going to do it. And then it creates gaps. It creates throwing lanes. It creates escape routes for the quarterback to get out of there and either make a play by running or throwing the ball. So we've known how Sam Mills III got fired. Jeff Zanina is in here. Kerrigan's in there. I don't want to, hide his skill, but are we going to have an issue with a scheme issue again, where it becomes the issue where it had before, where he's not helping out the other defenders? Like, talk to me about that, because we discussed that earlier.
That's a very good point, and that's what I'm very interested to see that, because especially even if you do, like I said, where you're bringing him on third downs, his job is to get a sack. Yep. So is there a way to game plan for that? So that's going to be really interesting that I think we're going to have to monitor is how does he play? Because as we've said, Ben said it earlier, like Washington's defense keeps them in the games.
Yes.
He's been doing it without him, and if he's not going to follow the game plan, now we got bigger problems going on this team,
Yes.
So it's going to be interesting. I'm hoping, there certainly does seem to be a little bit like he's missed the game a lot. He's mentioned it. He walked out of practice. The first thing he said, he's like, I missed this, and so there could be a little bit of, because I'm working my way back, I need to stick to the schemes because, I lost this for a certain period of time and I don't want to lose this again. And so maybe he becomes a little bit more of I don't want to say team player. That's not the right word, but fit with what the defense is looking to do.
Yes, and that is something that we will see going forward. Because I'm not trying to be glass half empty, but I do want us to temper our expectations for a lot of you fans, because I've heard a lot of fans like, he's back, here we go, blah blah blah. It's smart. Give it time. Give it time. Let's work him back in, because what's also happening is when he's coming back also coincides with the fall turning into the winter. So he's already not really kind of been back at game flow. Number one thing that I think we're going to have a problem with is him stiffening up, him being stiff and not being able to get back in there. Then you add the cold element to it. So let's just ease him back in there. Like you said, what we have now is not broken. If it's not broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? I don't want to say this because Chase is the guy. There's no other guy that we're going to put in that position. But I almost kind of want him to sit behind James Smith-Williams and those guys and let them run, because they've been running the system, and then you get Chase in for a shot in the arm, for that energy, for that. And you slowly get him to the point where he's getting there and it's third down and the crowd's going and they're sending somebody in the sub. He's like, no, this is that, because that's when he takes over the game. We can do that but let's just pump our brakes. Let's pump our brakes.
I'm with you.
The last number 2 draft pick that we allowed to go back early is now reporting. Yeah, is now reporting college football games.
Trying to buy the team.
All right. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. So we will see, but it's definitely exciting to see the fact that he's finally able to get back out here. I know he's wanted to get with the guys. And, hey, look, at the very least, he gives this guy these guys a jolt. He gets kind of the Taylor Heineke effect, but in a bigger, grander, because he is just larger than life. He's a larger than life personality. His talent, we know what it is. And I can't wait to see him back at that peak performance, but take your time, buddy.
Yep,
take
I agree.
Your time. So we are going to quickly move on because Tuesday night, ladies and gentlemen, November 1st was the trade deadline. And a lot of teams made a lot of moves, and we had one name that kept floating around, and he obviously had issues with us. Potentially, we had issues with him. Things just weren't working out. William Jackson III was traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm gonna tell you, I actually there was times when I kind of thought this could be maybe a distraction. But I think after hearing everything involved, I think this was the best move for everybody. Almost kind of similar to the late Dwayne Haskins when he went over there, getting the second chance to get an opportunity to play. Things didn't work necessarily over here, and it was on both sides. We both kind of were like, it's just not happening. Now, he went out his way, but we even came out. Ron Rivera even came out and said, hey, we might have misjudged this. We messed this up. We misjudged what we thought we were getting in the whole nine. So, I'm not upset about this move, and we got compensation for it. So, what are your thoughts on this?
No, I'm not upset about it at all. This was, if you look at the compensation, this was pretty much just get him out of here, and so that we can move on. When it comes to return, it's comical. The draft picks aren't until 2025. Yeah. So neither one of these teams have all that high hopes of it. Pittsburgh's basically like, yeah, I mean, we'll take him. We'll give it a shot here. And they're both, we would get their 6th. They would get our 7th. They're both conditional picks. So you're talking about after the first 32 picks of the round, then we would pick in the 6th round. So you could be looking at, the 35th, 40th pick of the 6th round. So there aren't value in the trade here. The value comes on 2 ways. The fact that not only is he off the roster, okay, because it just wasn't working out, and the defense has made quite strides since he's been removed from the lineup. But next year we save some money, all right? We have a dead cap hit next year of $9 million with him now on Pittsburgh's roster. But we were able to save $6 million that can be used towards a player next year. I mean, $6 million is a starter. That's what we're paying Andrew Norwell, Oh, yeah. So, to me, that alone made it a good move to say, if we freed up that much cap space, that's good. As much as it does suck to pay dead cap hits. You're paying money. You're losing part of your salary cap for nothing to pay a player to be elsewhere or to have left your team. That's never good business. But in this situation, since we're able to free up some money, we can allocate that onto somebody else. Heck, that could be another corner next year, maybe a aging veteran who's been cut, et cetera, that adds to our depth, or safety, or just anybody. That could just be another body out there that could be on the field doing better than he has, because you said it. Ron admitted, we brought this guy in. We thought he could translate into some of our schemes and stuff. We did. It didn't work. Since we took him off the field and promoted St. Juice to be the starting corner, the plays have improved. The amount of times we're getting torched deep, the amount of times that they look around at each other.
Yes.
A wide receiver's wide open, AJ Brown's wide open in the end zone, and he's just looking, it's like those problems have been solved, it seems like. And they've been a problem for 2 years, Yeah. And I've heard enough and read enough and seen that I always thought it was him. Last year I was very famous to say it's a player's problem. It's not a scheme problem. And I'm not going to put the entire problems on defense on William Jackson III, but we removed a problem by getting rid of him. And I hope he does well in Pittsburgh because I have no ill will feelings towards the guy.
And that's the thing. I don't know that I've seen. I'm trying to think if I've seen us do seen the guys do the point, it's your man, since he's gone. I don't think so. And maybe that's a familiarity. Those guys have played with each other. They know. And I mean, they play with William Jackson too, but it's like you said, there's just a certain difference. The communication is not getting lost in translation, or it's getting picked up. Everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing. But you're right, Will. I felt like with William Jackson III, we were the epitome of this Spider-Man thing. Yes. The meme where he's looking at you, it's your man. No, it's your man. You're Spider-Man. No, you're Spider. You know what I mean? It's like, you just get tired of that. You just get tired of that because eventually, I mean, scheme is one thing, but eventually you're playing football back or whatever. It comes down to football. So eventually you're going to say, hey, I've got two guys over here, or here, this guy's coming to you, or you know what I mean? Now, on the other side to that, I wonder how much in-depth research and studying William Jackson did of our system, and how much film study and how much he really got into it, because there's a certain level of that it just, to me, appeared like he wasn't doing. If you're spending so much time really kind of like, I thought that was come on now. Like, are you really not knowing that, oh, he's going this way, or you're not, you know what I mean? So I honestly think, like you said, it's a good move. Glad he's over there. Tomlin, we know what Tomlin can do with these guys. And, hey, maybe he'll help that defense. They are struggling like crazy right now. So maybe he'll be an instant force to that defense. I think they just got a TJ Watt back as well. So who knows? That could change. That could change a whole heck of a lot.
I'm actually glad that for once it seems like we're willing to admit we made a mistake. Yes. And now we're willing. Yes. Okay, so we made a mistake. Let's fix it. Let's fix it for the better of the team and to move on. And it wasn't a whole we need to try and slide this under the rug that no one realizes it, because we all realized that there were problems. We heard from multiple reporters speaking out saying that there always just seems to be, he always seems to not get the message out there or not know what the play was. And that it was just becoming too much of a habit to say, well, maybe it is a player and not necessarily the scheme that's the problem here.
Right. He said the Steelers got the guy they always wanted.
They wanted him? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
They wanted him from Cincinnati?
Yeah. I mean, that in my opinion is what they can get value. I mean, he's a tall, lengthy corner, things that we always said that we liked about him, but he does have, he was at Cincinnati just 3 years ago, and he has kind of intel on it. And that was a different team. That's before they got Jamar Chase and, Burrow got hurt that year. So it was a different team in Cincinnati from what it is now, but still, you've been there. It's always good in-house rivals or in division rivals and whatnot. So we'll see. We'll definitely see how that plays out.
Interesting.
Oh, wow.
Did not know that.
Yeah, interesting.
They targeted him.
Yeah, because it's weird because I don't remember them really coming after him after that. I mean, we pretty easily got
Pittsburgh
him last year.
Doesn't pay people in free agency.
Very true. We know how they are. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we are almost done. We are going to give you a quick little breather, and then we will be right back because we got a game. We got a game, Will. You know what, Will? Do you like that, Will? You like that? I mean, who knows? We'll see. We'll see.
Dun, 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 dun.
Let's go. The Washington Commanders. There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, in the rematch, the revenge game, the game of all games, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. You Like That himself, Kirk Cousins, leads the Minnesota Vikings into town to play the Washington Commanders. Game 9. They are 6-1, right?
They are, yeah.
6-1, ladies and gentlemen. Kirk Cousins is playing well. He's been playing the last couple years. He's been playing pretty well, but we know this. We know what he does. From the 20 to the 20, Kurt is the guy. Kirk can toss. He can throw it all over the yard. But Will, in the red zone, he has issues. Talk to me, Will. We're going against the Minnesota Vikings at 6-1, man. What are your thoughts, man?
So it's just kind of funny because it's been so long. I don't know who on our roster knows who Kirk Cousins is as a Redskin. There's been so much turnover. The coaching staff is, so it has changed, except for Bobby Turner, our running backs coach. He was here when Kirk was here. But Ryan Kerrigan, played with him. So he could dap him up, on the pre-games. But so much has changed. Like, I feel like the only people that this matters to is the fans right now.
Yep.
They're like, there's no other bit about it. It's two different. It's just another opponent now. So his return to DC is so anticlimactic now.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of interesting. So Minnesota, they're on a 5-game winning streak after losing the Eagles. They've been running something, but they're not blowing people out. They're having some close games. It's going to be an interesting game. I mean, they've got guys who could absolutely torch us. Justin Jefferson is a baller. All right. They just traded for TJ Hawkinson to be a weapon out there. He made some big catches against us in the Detroit game. They've got Dalvin Cook. The other part about this, listen to this. I thought this was great roster construction. In the last 5 years, the Vikings have drafted an offensive lineman in the first 2 rounds. Every time. What? So they have built their line with young guys and through the draft. All right. And that it certainly set them up now. So when they got a rookie head coach who's an offensive guy with a veteran quarterback and the stud wide receiver, it's really helping out everything come together on offense. And they're a dangerous offense. They can torch you,
Oh, yeah.
Their defense is no slouch either. Free agent signings, Zadarius Smith is leading the team with 8.5 sacks.
Yeah.
Green Bay, why did you let this guy go? Kind of ask me that, Patrick Peterson has revitalized his career in Minnesota after some down years, so they've got some players. It's not going to be easy on Sunday. It's not going to be easy at all.
Oh no. In fact, the only positive I have is that it is Kirk Cousins. And Kirk Cousins, we know how he is on those the Monday night games and any of the prime time games. But these type of games, he normally has a propensity to do really well. And look, we know our limitations in the secondary, even though they have been playing well together. Like you said, there's so many different pieces that he can throw to. And I didn't even think, I don't know why I didn't even picture in my head that I had just made a clip of Alex Loosemore talking about TJ Hawkinson going to the Vikings and them having to play the Vikings twice. You know what I mean? Yep. We already played TJ Hawkinson. Now we got to potentially play him again. Oh my God. Like you said, it wasn't until late. We actually did well against him in the first part of the game, but later in the game, he was in the second half, he was able to make a couple catches and get some yards. Yeah. But yeah, he just adds to an already stacked team. And that it's going to be interesting, but let's you have
I don't.
Oh, I just got up to get it. That's why I turned the camera on.
I should have.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to come into one of our favorite segments, Keys to Victory. Hey, Will, my key to victory is, and I don't want to seem like a broken record, but my key to victory is establish the run. But we need a balance. But the last couple games we had over 30 carries. We had 28 carries in this one. I need 25 to 30 carries in this game. I need us to seriously put some time into it, but be smart about it. Like what you were saying, there was a point where in the third quarter where it's like, okay, this isn't working. 3rd and 8, and we're doing a draw play or something like it's not working. We need to switch it up. So I want us to be smart about it. And I wonder if that was because of the poor play of Taylor Heineke, where they're just like, look, let's limit the mistakes and hold our defense. Because like we said, going into the fourth, it was 7-6, and our defense was holding their own. So I want us to still focus on getting the run because that's going to open up the passing game. But also, if we're getting the run, we're getting first downs. That means we are holding them on the sidelines. We know the weapons they have on offense. We know how solid their defense is. So we're just going to have to keep running the ball, keep it safe, but dedicate some time to it so that the play action, that the other stuff, the motion, all that extra stuff comes into effect.
Sure. So I'm going to kind of stick with that theme on offense there. And I'm going to say we need to spread the ball around. There's a very good chance that Patrick Peterson is going to shadow Terry McLaurin. Okay, follow him everywhere on the field. So we need to be willing to get Curtis Samuel involved, Cam Sims involved, get our running backs involved, tight ends if Logan Thomas is back for the second straight week. Maybe he's feeling better, because where the Vikings are vulnerable is the pass defense by everybody else other than Patrick Peterson. So we need to exploit that. And we need to get the ball out quick. Because, like I said, they've got pass rush. They've got Zadarius Smith. They've got Hunter, the other defensive end. So they can get to the quarterback. So we need to get the ball out quickly. We need to spread it around.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And on the offense, on the defense, for me, so we know the weapons. We know the things they have. The JJ, Justin Jefferson, Hockenson now, Adam Thielen, and Cook. We know the weapons that they have and how they can exploit us, but we also know we confuse, like we've been talking about, if we confuse Kirk, if we sit there and especially in between the 20s, or in the red zone, if we confuse him, can cluster everything up, cloud the picture, you know what I mean, if you will, he makes mistakes. He throws interceptions. He overthrows guys. He wants the safe pass.
He's process oriented.
Yes,
that shit he kept saying in DC.
Yeah, that's what he does. He's sitting here trying to okay. Oh, there's the perfect play. Let's go to that. There's a perfect pass. There you go. He's open now. Let's go to that. In the NFL, they do something called throwing you open. Okay, which means when he throws it, you might not be, but he's going to put it in the spot to where then you can run to it and you can make the play on it. We need to force him to read the disguise, read the, which hand is it in, which we need him to force him to beat us through that. You know what I mean? He can get the deep balls. He can we keep in front of us, of course, but we need to cloudy that up and force him to make those critical decisions that we know all too well that he has a propensity to mess up on. So we have got to cloud it up for him and really make his his game back in Washington just like he's seeing ghosts.
Confuse him. Absolutely.
Yeah, confuse him.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with the theme that we've been saying, and it kind of falls in line with what you're saying too. It's the ultimate bend but don't break. Yeah. I know they're going to move the ball on us. They've got good offensive weapons. We need to do what we're doing best so far. And once they hit that red zone, we hold them to 3 points. We don't give up the touchdowns, because that's how we can stay in this game, is if they get the yardage though, but the defense clamps down in the end and does what they need to do, wins on third down, gets off the field, and they're kicking field goals.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. I got one more.
You got one more? Yeah, I do too.
Okay. Mine's for fun, so you go with yours.
Okay, well, mine's for fun too. So my final one is what is yours?
It's Taylor Heineke needs to throw a pick early so he can bounce back.
No, that's not mine.
Do it, because he throws a pick in every game, so throw it early, get it off your chest, get it out of your system.
Yes.
All right. Back when I used to do these morning workouts, and what we would always say is it's only men and everything like that. It's get all the cussing out now before the sun comes out. Get it all out of the system. Say what you need to say now, so that when you go home and you're a father and you're at your job, you're cleaned up and buttoned up. So for Taylor, get all the stuff out of your system early, throw the pick early. It can't be for a pick six, and come back and play as a professional quarterback.
Oh, I like that. And for my last one, it is kind of a funny one. Whatever we do, we cannot allow this man to come out of here saying, "You like that?" to us. If he wins and is able to say that, I might not come on the show next week, because he has been waiting to say those words specifically to us.
You think he still has ill will?
Trent Williams still has ill will. They all do, man.
He almost died. That's
I know. I understand that, but we were okay. We were like, if you're in a relationship and you start the relationship with the new girl, and then you still have the old girl, but he was bringing the new girl around. He's sitting here. We brought Alex in, and he was still there. He found out that Alex Smith.
Right.
Yeah. He found out that Alex Smith got picked up through like Twitter.
We traded for Alex Smith before he had officially signed. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay.
So we brought that in, and it was like, yeah, this is what it is. And he found out through social media. So it was kind of like he's scorned. He's a scorned lover. All right. I think he's gonna have a little, and he's gonna say it for fun. He's gonna say you like that. He's gonna do something. I'm just saying, let's not give him that opportunity to walk out of the field and have a little clip where he's like, you like that, to the fans and all. We don't need that. We don't need that. Okay. That's it.
I think he was happy to get out of DC. I think he was happy he got paid, and he realized this is not a franchise I want to be with long term. And so he was happy to get that opportunity to leave.
Oh, absolutely. And he's closer to the Midwest, out in Minnesota. So
he does.
Absolutely. So Will, let's go to our score predictions. What do you think is gonna happen? I'm gonna let you go first because I ain't the most optimistic, but we'll see.
Yeah. If you don't want to hear Kirk Cousins say you like that, this is not the game for you.
Yeah.
I think Kirk is going to have a rushing and passing touchdown. Two touchdowns. Minnesota's going to win 23-13. Don't know if we can stop them.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I just do not think we're going to stop him. I think he's going to throw for 4 touchdowns. I think they're going to beat us 35-17.
Whoa.
Yeah. I think they're going to put up yards on us, and it's going to be Dalvin Cook is going to be an issue. TJ Hawkinson is going to be an issue. I think we're going to be able to potentially stop maybe a Justin Jefferson, maybe hold to Thielen to maybe 4 or 5 catches. Some not as much, not blowing up, but still, hold him a little bit. But I think it's going to be a lot of those other guys, KJ Osborne. You know what I mean? Those guys who blow up on fantasy. I wish I had him. Who make plays, but Kurt gets the ball to a lot of those other guys. So I think a lot of those guys are gonna definitely show up.
I hear Kat in the background. I hear her. She's gonna be happy for her boy on Sunday, I think.
Oh yeah, we know.
And I hope we're both wrong. It's gonna be wonderful.
Oh yeah, I don't know how much football I'm gonna watch after that because she already's talking about. I want to go to the game with my jersey and the Vikings hat. I'm like, nope. Not doing it. Not allowing it to happen. Oh my goodness. All right. Nate says 30-24.
A lot of scores there, Nate.
Oh yeah.
A lot of scores. High score.
Oh yeah. So look, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you being here with us. Washington plays the Minnesota Vikings this Sunday. Cannot wait. Mr. You like that. Kirk Cousins will be back, and we shall see what happens. Will, we are 4-4. A couple weeks ago, you said we were going to be 4-4, potentially lose 2 again, and win 2 again. So we might be in the middle of that 2-game losing streak here, Will.
Keeping the expectations tempered right now.
Oh, yeah. Anton says, I see it 31-17. Who you got, Vikes, Anton? I'm going to assume you're saying the Vikes.
Probably.
I think their run game is going to take time off the clock and help them win as well as the QB.
There you go.
Yep. Yeah, it's gonna be. I hate to say this, but I have a feeling it's gonna be like 21-0, and then we're gonna come back, but it's just gonna be too little, too late, and they're gonna get a couple touchdowns late. Oh man! So look, ladies and gentlemen, we have got to let you go on the episode we were gonna record, but I accidentally pressed live. So we appreciate you guys being here. And
thank you, Kat, for letting Sean stay and talk to us.
Yeah, we did. I gotta put out that fire as soon as I get out of here. So hey, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you being here with us. Definitely stay tuned for Washington Football Weekly coming back at you same time, same place next week. Watch the game on Sunday. If we get the W, I don't know, maybe episode 2 of the post game. I don't know. A whole bunch of you like that will be coming for us. Yeah. That was definitely great. Definitely tune in to all the other Let's Talk Football shows. We got something on almost every day of the week. So many great people represented doing their best to bring you football content, talk football, all this and that. And we know you love and appreciate it. We love and appreciate you guys. So we are going to go ahead and sign off. Where's that video? Oh, there it is. Yeah, we are going to go ahead and sign off for my guy over here, South Carolina's finest, who's getting ready for you getting ready for the repeat, aren't you? Is it the women's South Carolina basketball team that's starting up?
Probably starting soon. Probably.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. The Tar Heels are going for that redemption. So that would be lovely. Let's go. We'll see how it goes. But look, we're gonna go ahead and let you guys go, man. Thank you so much for being with us, and we will definitely talk to you later. Enjoy this commercial. Peace, people.